Hey everyone, so in today's video we are going to see how to convert this high poly asset into an optimized game asset, not from the Blender as I showed in previous video, but we are going to use Substance Painter today. This is a really nice asset. It is very detailed and very high poly. As we can see, we have 7,000 vertex count, and now we are going to make that even lower. So this is our column, and I think I'll just rename this to something like hi. And now let's make a new collection, and let's go ahead and remesh this pretty low poly count. So I think we are good with 16 watts. Okay, you can go even lower if you want. So you just need to scale it up a little bit until it just roughly matches the shape. And we are going to go into the wireframe mode, grab that, turn on the gizmo, and we'll just snap it to the origin. Okay, this looks good. And now we are also going to move it down like this, and we can snap it to the vertex right over there. Okay, and now we are going to make an inset roughly over there, and let's extrude it on the Z like this and snap it over there. Now as you can see, we could go more in like this, and when it is just roughly colliding over there like that, we can get another inset, and this time we need it to just slightly touch the edge, and we are going to extrude that on the Z axis like this. Okay, now let's move it till over there, right over there. Okay, and now let's hold down Control and click plus, and I'm going to scale this down on the Z like this, and it just roughly collides over there like that. And I think this is much more thicker at the bottom, and it is getting tapered towards the top. So I'm just going to scale it down like that. Let's go to the solid view and let's see. Okay, so we just need it to be like just a little bit collision like that, and this is good. We can totally leave it like that, or we can just go ahead and scale it down a little bit more. And now let's go ahead and extrude. Let's scale it up again, and then we are going to extrude it on the Z. Hit Control plus, and let's scale it on the Z like that, just barely touching the geometry, something like that. Okay, and now this is the kind of trick part. Now you can go ahead and add as many bevels as you want, but I think if we check out the borders of this thing, I can just go ahead and extrude it up like that. Let's go to the wireframe, and I'm going to snap it to that vertex, and I'm just going to scale it up. Now I think I should just go ahead and extrude it on the Z again, and let's snap it to that vertex over there, and we will also scale it so that it roughly matches the shape. Now I'm just going to add one more edge loop over there, and let's scale it up just a tiny bit like that, and let's add another loop over there and scale it up roughly over there. Okay, so this is more than enough geometry, I think, on that side, and we can even make this even more. The quads, we can make them even more evenly spaced by doing that, and I think this is pretty good. So now let's go ahead and again extrude it on the Z till over there. So I think it starts curving right from over there, so I think I'll keep it till there, or we can just go ahead and move it over there. Now again, let's go ahead and extrude all the way up to the top till over there, and then we can just scale it like that, and then I will add another loop cut, scale it till over there. Let's move it down. We need to capture like the overall shape of this thing. So I think I'll just snap it over there and scale it up. Let's add another loop cut right over there and scale it up like that. So this is already pretty low poly. The top part is already kind of optimized, so we don't have to do much on that part, but this part I think we can do better. I'll just go ahead and extrude it on the Z like that, and then let's move it up till over there. What we can do is now let's go ahead and add a loop cut, and let's scale it out. Now the bevel on this thing is not even. I'm just going to roughly put that over there. Let's add another loop cut and let's scale it up like that. Okay, and now let's add another loop cut over here and scale it up like that. So we are basically enveloping this whole geometry into this our new geometry, which is our low poly geometry. And yeah, so I'm just gonna scale that up, and I think I can press G twice and move it down and scale that up again. Okay, now let's select the top vertexes and let's just scale them up like that. So I don't want to change the whole geometry, but just get the shape right. If you want, you can add more geo to this top part, like add a loop cut over there, move it down a little bit, and then scale it up, move it up probably. Okay. Okay, so we now have enveloped our geometry really nicely. So now, right now, we have 368 word count, which is very good. You can go ahead and add a little bit of supporting edge loops like this, so that the geometry is not too stretched on the up direction. So I think we can safely add 5. I think 5 is good number. So this is good enough loop counts for this stretch geometry. So now we went 448. We don't have to do this, but I think it is better if we do it for the UV unwrapping. So now let's split the window, and we will make this one UV editor. And usually you can just go ahead and do a smart UV project, which will give you a better result. But if you want, you can just go ahead and manually unwrap this thing. So I can just select that face over there. We can make it separate, and then let's make the bottom face separate. So Control E, and then we will do mark seam, and let's just select everything and unwrap it. Now this looks really bad because it is. So we are going to go ahead and add a seam right over here, and let's go ahead and mark that as a seam, not sharp. Mark seam, and then select everything, and then we will do unwrap. Now as you can see, this is way too stretched, so I think I'll just select that edge and that edge, and let's mark it as a seam and select everything, you unwrap. And still this part, it still looks pretty, I mean, this is separated, but it still looks a bit more stretched. So we can add more seams right over there, because it is the under part. um, we added one over there, we can add one over there as well, but let's just add seams one by one, and let's unwrap it. Okay, so we got two separate sections. Now let me check which section is that. Okay, let's see where this is. And we could add a seam over there instead of adding a seam on this side. Let's just add it over there. E mark seam, and then let's unwrap it. Okay, now this looks a little bit more like open and spacious. I will keep this large mesh like that. Okay, so now that we got our unwrapping done, let's just shade it smooth. And as you can see, it looks horrible, so we are going to shade auto smooth, and now it looks a little bit better, but we got this sharp shading over there, so we are going to increase the distance to 60, and now it looks much better. So we are going to apply that geonode modifier for auto smooth, and if we go into the edit mode, you'll see that that modifier added this sharp, it marked this edges sharp. So yep, that's how that modifier works. So now that we have unwrapped it, let's select everything and get out of this mode. Okay, UV selection, select every UV, go ahead and do an average island scale. After that, do a pack island, and now I'm going to give it a margin of 0.02. Keep scale and rotation. You can uncheck the rotation if you want, but I'll keep it. So this is the most efficient way of packing this UVs with the current Blender algorithm. So yeah, I'm just going to keep it like that. Okay, so now the part where you will bake this in Substance. So first thing, save your project, and we will first export our high resolution mesh. So column for high, let's go ahead and export this. So as an FBX file, I'm just gonna make a new folder and let's call it FBX. So I'll name this as high res pillar. Okay. Now for this, let's do selected objects, FBX unit scale, and my minus y is forward, z is up, no geometry. I'll keep that at normals and let's export. Okay, so now that we are done with high poly, let's do the low poly one. And this is the part which we will import in Substance Painter as well. So let's do the export in FBX and let's call it low res pillar. So naming actually doesn't matter that much. So I'll just save that and let's go ahead and open Substance Painter. Okay, so now in our Substance Painter, we will click on new and then we are going to select a pipeline. So let's select PBR metallic roughness. Okay, document resolution totally depends on you. I'm just gonna keep it at 4K. Let's select the file, and for this we need to select the low resolution file. So open up your low res file, and also one more thing, you can change your color management to from legacy to Adobe ACE. I really like that. It is totally optional, by the way. So let's open that. Okay, so now we have our low resolution mesh over here. So now let's go to the baking tab, and I'll change this to 4K. And now over here in the high definition meshes, I'm just gonna click on that icon and let's select our high res pillar and click on open. So as you can see, this created and type of an envelope around our high resolution mesh, sorry, our low resolution mesh. And from max frontal distance, you can decrease the distance if you want. You don't want to see those red things. You need to make sure that there are no red areas. So I think 0.01 is a really good distance, but you can go lower if you want. And max rear distance means that how inwards it is going in the mesh. So you have to make sure that that is also an appropriate value. So 0.01 works in most of the cases, so you don't have to change that. And then inside the normals, it is good. This is good. I don't have any ID maps. I will bump up the secondary rays, and you can decrease the ambient occlusion distance from this maximum distance to 0.1 or 0.2 depending upon your scale of your model. Sometimes ambient occlusion doesn't work really that good, so you can decrease the distance if you want. In the curvature, I will increase the secondary rays again. Thickness, increase the secondary rays. Bend normal, I will turn that on. Increase the secondary rays. Now the baking part is actually done right over there. So this is just some extra settings that I really like to do. And if your bake is not as you think it is, try fiddling with this max frontal distance and max rear distance. And now we are just going to hit bake, and as you can see, it baked the normal map from high resolution to low resolution mesh, and also it is baking the curvature, position, and ambient occlusion depending upon the high resolution mesh. So the baking is done, and you can preview your bakes from over here, but I will recommend go to the paint mode. And as you can see, the bakes are done really nicely. You can also check them on your 2D view. So here we are. And if you see something like this, I think the transition is way too harsh. So that's why the shadows are baked like that. But if we go into the paint mode and if we go into the material view, everything will actually look fine. Okay, so the reason why it is looking that sharp is because we have a cylinder over there, and this curvature is pretty harsh for it, but the lighting reacting to our straight cylinder is really good. So this is how you can get free details and make a really awesome assets and optimize them in Substance Painter. Now you can go ahead and add materials on top of it, and it will work really nicely. Now this pillar, suppose if it was made out of copper and it got rusted, so you can have the bronze copper. Okay, this one. Okay, so as you can see, it is reacting to our baked maps really nicely, and this also reacts with light really well. Let's have something that is very much dependent upon the curvature as well. So let's go ahead and try this material out. So as you can see that it is also working really well. Let's try this material out, and as you can see, it is communicating with the curvatures very nicely. Now we went from 7,000 word count to 448, which is a massive improvement for any game. And that shadow, that harsh shadow, is because we have such a harsh angle over there. And also which is fine. It will look really great even up close in any game engine, especially in Unreal. It will look really well. So that's how you bake and a higher resolution mesh on top of a lower resolution mesh and get free details with extra boost of and performance. So if you don't want to use Substance Painter, then you can do all of this in Blender itself. I have a tutorial made right over there, and I will also mention that in the card over there. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and hopefully I will be able to make more videos like this on 3D stuff. If you want more tutorials on Substance Painter, then do let me know in the comment section below. Also, I have a Discord community where I can help you guys if you need any help with your project files. So I'm trying to build this a nice 3D community where everyone can showcase their stuff. You can talk more about portfolios over there, and yeah, help each other out. I'm also there most of the time, so I can help you guys as well. Yeah, so do join if you want. Or comment section is free for everyone. You can just ask your doubts in comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.